ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, welcome back to this Bhagavad Gita study group. Thank you all for joining. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, we'll do a chota sa recap. Essentially, the Bhagavad Gita teaches us three things, and write this down like a triangle on the top of your Bhagavad Gita, somewhere right in the front. Write this down. Make a little triangle. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us to be dutiful. It teaches us to be detached, and it teaches us to be devotional. Okay, write this down. Dutiful, detached, devotional. Okay, that is the essential point of the Bhagavad Gita. So if you want to take back one lesson from this entire section, right, last week and what we're going to do today, that lesson should be this: be dutiful. That means do your duty to the best of your ability, right? Be detached. So do your duty to the best of your ability, but do it with complete detachment. And 3, be devotional, which means whatever you do, you offer it to the Supreme Lord. In the material world, what really happens is people get too attached to the work that they do and the fruit of that work, right? So we're very, very attached to our karma and us karma ka phal. And that is why there is so much of frustration, right? Because we're always expecting something, and if we do not get what we expect, it leads to a lot of frustration, a lot of anger. So, this material world is full of people who are attached to karma and karma phal. But Krishna is talking to devotees. He says, if you want to deal with this materialistic society, then you also do your karma. You also do your karma very, very dutifully. But internally, give up all your attachments, right? Don't have asakti to the karma or the karma phal, right? Whatever you do it on behalf of God. So, a devotee performs all his duties very dutifully. It looks like he's attached to the karma and the karma phal, but internally he's completely detached. He does not have material aspirations or desires for his personal gain. Correct? So last time we learnt a very beautiful shlok. Did anyone learn it by heart? Yad yad acharati shreshtas. Yes, Subhalakshmi, please.
यद्यत् आचरति श्रेष्ठ तत्तत् एवेतरो जनः। एतत् खाद्य सुबलक्ष्मी।
Sayat. Sayat pramanam kurute.
Sayat pramanam kurute.
Lokastat anuvartate. Okay, very nice.
यद्यत् आचरति श्रेष्ठ तत्तत् एवेतरो जनः स यत् प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तत् अनुवर्तते.
Very nice. Kajal, you've written you already feel like this. What do you feel like, sweetie?
It's not Kajal actually, it's me.
Pooja, sorry. What is I already feel like this?
Where when we started this session, I remember asking you this question that how can you not be attached to the results, but now I somehow feel I'm out of this I'm already attached myself to this.
That's wonderful. What fantastic progress. So there is a beautiful shlok that will come later in the 8th chapter. It will tell us that when we have Purvajan ki Sukruti, right? That Sukruti brings us to studying the scriptures where we had left it off in a previous lifetime. And once you find it, then helplessly you will get drawn to it and you will start following it very, very quickly. So you're experiencing that, hold on to it, don't lose it. Okay?
I will not. In fact, my devotion has become much stronger, and every day I start my day by saying that your will is my will, and I'm absolutely okay with it.
So
I begin my day every
nice, so beautiful. Surrendering your will to Krishna is probably the highest level of letting go, because that minute independence is what Krishna has given each one of us, right? Ki I don't want forceful wala pyar, okay? I don't want to do any zabardasti in your life. I'm telling you what is right and what is wrong. You do whatever you think is right. But the day you surrender that will, I think you've achieved it all. Fantastic, Pooja. So lovely to hear this. Yes, Subhalakshmi, you want to share something?
Yeah, no, actually, no. Last time you told us about TREE. What is the full form of that?
I'll give it to you.
Right.
I'll give it to you. Right, the first one, the T that we did is Tyag versus renunciation. Right, मैं संन्यास लूं कि मैं त्याग करूं. Right, so that is T. R was the rungs of the ladder. Okay, in this rungs of the ladder, Krishna is talking about, okay, currently, like I said, right, we are even below animals. We have to move up from there. He spoke about karma kand. क्योंकि तुमको कर्म योग नहीं समझता, at least start with karma kand. Do things with material desires, but when you do them, you offer them to the devatas. You're still asking something that I myself want. I go to Visa Wala Balaji, I'm praying for a visa, right? And when I get it, then I'm offering something to Balaji. So I still want something for myself, but I'm at least learning to offer to devatas. That is karma kand, where I'm doing puja, path, upas, tapas, everything. I'm doing it with a desire to get something, but at least I'm not saying that there is no superior power. I'm accepting devatas. So karma kand. From karma kand, right, we'll move to karma yoga. That is where he is speaking of how Janak Maharaj continued to work because he did not want to disturb the people in general, right? But he did it with no aspirations. He was the greatest karma yogi, right? So he's telling us, okay, karma kand ke baad tum karma yogi kaise ban sakte ho? Then he'll talk about jnana yogi, and then he'll talk about bhakti yogi. So these are rungs of the ladder, R. Okay? E, the first E is exemplary behavior. Okay, we'll come to that. So TR is what we've covered, that Janak Maharaj is exemplary behavior of leaders. That is what we just started towards the end of last class. Okay, so Krishna gave two examples. He gave the example of Janak Maharaj and he gave his own example. कि how I don't need anything in this world. है ना, मैं चुटकी बजाऊंगा सब कुछ हो जाएगा इधर. And yet, when I take birth here, I am doing all my karmas according to my varna and my ashram. Right? So now going forward, Krishna is talking to leaders. Now every devotee is expected to become a leader in society. Right? Every person who believes in God, every person who believes in Vishnu is called a Vaishnav, right? Every Vaishnav is expected to become a leader in society is simply because if you have found the right path, then be an example and let others follow you. Okay? But don't get carried away in your leadership. So Krishna is telling us how to be sensible leaders and how to deal with common people. Okay? Who are not yet aware of this wonderful treasure of knowledge that we have. Okay, so we'll start with verse number 26. Please repeat. Na buddhi bhedam janayed adnyanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan.
So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness.
Wonderful. See, we normally, we see this problem. The minute we start on our spiritual journey, we tend to get very carried away. Right? And we start making these lofty statements, कि यार ये नहीं तो कुछ नहीं, your life is a complete waste if you don't surrender to God. You're going to rot in hell. You're working all day like a donkey. In your next life, you're going to be a donkey. So give it all up. What you're doing is a waste. ये सब छोड़ दो और माला हाथ में पकड़ लो. Right? We tend to do this in the initial phase of our spiritual journey. But listen carefully to what Krishna is telling us here. Krishna is clearly saying, Na buddhi bhedam janayet. Please do not do this. Do not disturb the buddhi, the intelligence of people in general. Right? If people are not on the spiritual path, don't go and tell them ki what they're doing is wrong. Don't disturb them. Don't unsettle them. Okay? Because by listening to you, they may understand ki acha, giving up work is very good. Okay? But remember, they still don't know what to do after giving up work. Because they don't have knowledge and they don't have faith. So how are they going to sustain themselves? So don't tell them to give up their duties because they do not have the qualification to understand. In our material world, there are normally only two options. One, I will work very, very, very hard because I want to enjoy the results of my work. And two, if I'm not going to get the result, then I don't want to work at all. Right? So if you tell people to give up work, they are going to say, "Fir chhod na." And then what is going to happen? An idle mind is the devil's workshop. Right? तो उल्टा सब हो जाएगा. When Prabhupada first went to America, his earliest followers were hippies. Right? Guys who were always high on LSD, guys who were all into music and, just basically came from good homes and were looking for an experience but did not know what to do. So Prabhupada got them all into the movement, but he didn't tell them ki idhar baitho aur mera pravachan suno. Because obviously they were not even qualified to understand what Prabhupada was talking about. So instead, he found what was good in them. Somebody was very good at painting. So he said, chalo Radha Krishna ki painting banao. Somebody was very good at canvassing. To leaflets banao, brochures banao, let's all spread it everywhere. Somebody was good at cooking. So he trained them in cooking sattvic food. Some people were good at editing. Right? One of the greatest guys who's responsible for all the books that we read, he was from Oxford, if I'm not mistaken. He took to spirituality and Prabhupada didn't say ki baki sab chhod do tum mala karo. No, he said, why don't you edit these books for me? Because English is not my first language. Right? So why don't you do all of this? So there were people who were cooking, who were cleaning, who were, editing and printing the books and distributing the books and painting and, getting other people to join the mission. So a lot of this, you find the strength in a person and you engage that person in service. Right? In fact, we all know George Harrison, right? So George Harrison was such a powerful cultural icon at that point, right? He was influencing millions of youth all over the world. People didn't know that he was very spiritually inclined also. He spent a lot of time with Prabhupada and he really enjoyed Prabhupada's lessons, right? He started practicing Bhakti Yoga. At one point, George Harrison went and told Prabhupada that I want to become a Hare Krishnaite. I want to become an ISKCONite. And at that point, Prabhupada said no. Because then you will get restricted to a cult. Instead, being the music icon, being the cultural icon that you are, you're able to spread the Sankirtan movement far more than just getting attached to me. Right? So George Harrison dove deeper and deeper into spirituality. He wrote amazing songs. Right? I mean, I'm sure we've all heard My Sweet Lord. Right? That My Sweet Lord, George Harrison himself says, it is like a mantra of peace and tranquility. Right? He says that those words were really a prayer. It was a conversation that I was having with God. right? And he was trying to show through that song ki Hallelujah and Hare Krishna are essentially the same thing. After class, if you have time, go listen to that song. In fact, George Harrison has written so many things about God consciousness, about karma, about reincarnation, and all his songs, right, became huge hits. In fact, when that My Sweet Lord came out, half the world was singing Hare Krishna. They didn't even know what they were singing, right? They were simply singing a song that was written by one of the Beatles. In that song, if you remember right, or go and look it up, he's even sung Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, right? So this is coming from George Harrison. You can imagine the impact that it made in the world. Instead, if Prabhupada had said कि ये सब बकवास है ना, तुम ये क्या कर रहे हो, तुम लोगों को बहका रहे हो, everyone coming to your concert is high on, all kinds of drugs, so give up all of this, then this message of My Sweet Lord and Lord being the same would not have reached millions of people, right? So this is how we need to engage people to do what they are best at and benefit the world in general. So don't turn people and upset their path. You engage their strength. You engage whatever they are doing in doing good for themselves and good for others. So Krishna here in this verse is saying, don't disturb the buddhi of those people who are not spiritually inclined. Don't disturb those people who are very, very materialistic. Instead, engage them in all sorts of meaningful projects. Right? So slowly, धीरे धीरे, भाई थोड़ा सा डोनेशन दे दे, है ना? Nobody will say no to you. If you have a good friend and you say यार महीने का 200 दे देना, गाय सेवा में लगाना है, he may not believe in गाय सेवा, but उसके हाथ से अज्ञात सुकृति हो ही जाएगी ना. चलो भाई फूड फॉर लाइफ चल रहा है, give me $200, है ना? आते जाते let's leave something in the temple. Here's some good books. Why don't you distribute it to your friends? Engage them, right? Or okay, you have a beautiful printing business. I need some printing work done. Automatically he'll give you a discount. That is his sukruti, right? So engage whatever they're doing to the best of their abilities. Now Krishna tells us कि if the ignorant people and the wise people, if both of them are going to do Vedic actions, then what is the difference between the two? Okay, so the next two verses are going to tell us what is the difference between people who understand and people who don't understand. Okay, verse number 27, please. A good verse to always remember. So if you can learn verses by heart, please learn this one. Please repeat. Prakruteha kriyamanani guneh karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham manyate.
The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature.
Very nice. First, I'll go through the word for word meaning of this verse. Okay, I'd really like you to spend some time learning this. Prakruteha kriyamanani. All the kriyas that are happening because of Prakruti, material nature. Gune karmani sarvashah. All kinds of karma are being done because of the three guna of Prakriti. In Prakriti, everybody is tied by these three gun. Satogun, Rajogun, Tamogun. So whatever action we perform is being done by Prakriti ke teen gun. Okay, Prakriti has tied us up nicely, tightly. Sometimes we are in Satogun, sometimes we are in Rajogun, sometimes we are in Tamogun. And because of the gun that we are in, all that we do is happening. But ahankara vimudhatma. Because of our ahankar, because of our false ego, we are vimudhas. We are foolish. And we think, karta aham iti manyate. We start thinking ki I am the karta. I am the doer of everything. Okay? We think that all the activities that we do, I am the doer. It's like when I play a harmonium, right? Beautiful music comes out. And we never say that the harmonium produced a beautiful sound, right? We say that I played beautiful music. When Sachin Tendulkar, I'm still stuck at Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, so when Virat Kohli hits a 6, right? We glorify Virat Kohli. We don't glorify the bat. There are so many other things that are responsible for the activity that we have done. Okay? In this verse, Krishna is saying all activities are carried out by the 3 modes of material nature. Okay, by Prakriti. Let's take this example. Okay? Father is working out in the gym. है ना, छोटा सा बच्चा जिम में जाता है, father is pumping weights, है ना, let's say there's 60 kgs का weight lying over there, and the child is trying to pick it up. Is the child able to pick it up? No. But seeing the child's desire to pick it up, father slips his hand under the weights and father picks up the weight. Right? Now, who has actually lifted the weight? Is it the father? Is it the hands of the father? Or is it the child? Who has actually picked up the weight? Think. Father?
Yes.
What else? What are the other answers?
The child and the father. I mean, the child must strive for something at least.
Very nice. The child and the father. What else? So, this is our relationship with God. Please understand this. Another beautiful triangle that you can draw in your Bhagavad Gita to always remember. Okay? There are 3 aspects. There is the child, there is the father's hands, and there is the father. Correct? Who desired the weight needed to be lifted? The desire came from whom? From the child. Right?
Right.
So, in this world, whatever happens, we the Jiva, right? So, the first point of your triangle should be Jiva, the Jivatma. We desire. है ना? So, for any action to happen, what is the first step? Desire by the Jivatma. Right? Ab father saw that this child is desiring. है ना? So, the father sanctioned it. So God, when He sees that we have a particular desire, He checks our karmic balance. Right? And if He thinks that you're okay, you have good karmic balance for this, He sanctions. So Jeev desires, Ishwar sanctions. And because the father thought कि चल भाई, बच्चे को weight उठाना है, चलो उठा देता हूं. So he puts his hand under the बच्चा and he picks up the weight. So the hands are Prakriti. Prakriti facilitates. So don't ever forget this. As Jivatma, you make the desire. Right? Whether it is I want to progress in spirituality, or I want to run my business fantastically, or I want to attend a party. Right? The desire comes from the Jivatma. Based on your karmic balance, Ishwar will sanction or not sanction. If the father had said, यार छोड़ ना इस बच्चे को पड़े रहने दे, है ना, मैं अपना I'll keep pumping my weights, that kid would have been trying, nothing would have moved. Right? That weight would not have been lifted. But because the father sanctioned, right, the father's hands facilitated. So just like that in our desires, if God sanctions, then Prakriti will facilitate. Right? But unfortunately, as Jivatmas, we think we are the doers and we forget these very, very large contributors. Right? I mean, very simple, yeah, we eat food and the food gets digested. Right? We don't have a clue about what is happening inside. We have no control over it. Even though we keep thinking, meri body hai. Right? And yet, I put a piece of apple in my mouth and I have no clue as to what happens inside. Right? And yet, ahankara vimudhatma karta ham iti manyate. My ahankar mein, I am so foolish that I start thinking that I am the doer of everything. Therefore, when we realize that we don't understand even the basics, our humility should be even greater. Right? We should be aware that we are simply instruments in the hands of God. In this world, right, we will be far better if we realize that we are not the proprietors, we are not the doers. We are simply caretakers. We are simply following out the orders that we are supposed to. Right? In our lives, whatever we do, whether it is cooking, cleaning, parenting, business, whatever activities, right? if we think in our heart that I am able to do this only because I have been empowered by God, right? Only because I want to be submissive to the will of God, like Pooja said today, submit your will to the will of God, right? But I'm empowered. I have certain talents, I have certain abilities. Using that, I'm going to do the best possible as far as my duty is concerned, right? So I'm going to be very, very dutiful, and I'm going to be detached, and I'm going to be super devotional. When I can get these 3 D's together, we can do miraculous things, right? So normally in school we study man proposes, God disposes. It's true, right? Man desires, and therefore based on our karma, God is sanctioning. If he doesn't sanction, wo kuch hota hi nahi hai. When he sanctions, then we say, no, the universe conspires to make it all happen, right? We should also understand that God proposes and we should accept. Then we are in a far better situation, right? The Lord is seated in our heart as Paramatma. He is the chariot driver, and we are like Arjun. We are full of doubts, full of confusion. All we have to do is turn towards him, listen to him, right? When we don't understand, we must ask. Ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, right? Beautiful prayers. In all religions, the prayers are so beautiful, right? If only we do it with our heart. Because sitting in there is the Paramatma, and he is like our GPS. And suppose you're using GPS to go from one place to another. The minute you take a wrong turn, that GPS does not redirecting. So if we listen to our Paramatma, that Paramatma is also like that. You know, the GPS doesn't shout at you, kya gadha hai, tum galat raste gaye. He says, okay, you took a little diversion, let me bring you back. That's exactly what the Paramatma does. Every time we take a wrong turn, that Paramatma says, it's okay, hota hai. Let me redirect you. In fact, it's very beautiful. So Brahmaji is the second creator, right? So when Brahmaji was given the job of creation, he asks Krishna, कि कृष्णा मुझे ना ये सब बाकी के सब हो गए है ना creations, अब human को बनाना है, right? I need to make a living entity. How do I make him? And Krishna says कि make him like me. Because the closer he is to me, the more easy it is for him to relate to me. Right? And if we are able to relate to somebody, we'll be able to understand whatever he has to say, and we'll be able to understand that let your will be done. We'll be able to surrender to him better. Right? So all we need to do is align ourselves to the mission of God. We have to give up this thing of karta aham, because that comes from ahankar. It is only our ahankar that makes us think that I am the doer of everything. All that we need to do is be humble, and one thing we need to do to help ourselves is to latch on, is to hold on tightly to spiritual energy. And in our lives, how do we get spiritual energy? Like this. When we sit down together and study Bhagavad Gita, when we chant a mantra, when we listen to a guru ka, discourse, when we worship our deities, when we eat prasad, right? Through all of these, prasad does not mean go to a temple, stand in line and get prasad. What you cook at home, when you offer it to God, it becomes prasad. Then your entire family is eating prasad, right? You have to have faith. I remember we were in Jagannath Puri, and I must be crossing all lines when I say this. Jagannath Puri, the deities are so profoundly amazing, right? And then if you see how people are there waiting to eat prasad, it's unbelievable. But standing over there at that point, I told my husband कि यार अपने deities भी बहुत powerful है घर में. जैसे इधर तुम चुपचाप इतनी श्रद्धा से खड़े हो ना प्रसाद खाने के लिए, वैसे ही घर में खाना खाते जाओ, क्योंकि अपना भी तो प्रसाद ही है ना, भगवान को भोग लग के ही खाते हैं ना, right? See, I'm not comparing Jagannath Puri because of the confluence of a million devotees, because of the spiritual energy, because God himself, Sakshat, is prakat over there. I understand that the divinity there is at another level altogether. But we should be able to bring that divinity home and find God in everything that we do. My deities at home, I believe, are profoundly potent. Right? Why wouldn't they be? Because they are the same God. right? All we need to do is latch on to that source, right? It is our ego that does not let us latch on to any superior energy. So we need to lose that ego and get humility, right? So instead of this ego ki I am doing great things, if I begin to think ki God is empowering me to do great things, then we can always be humble and dedicated in our services. Okay, next one, verse number 28. तत्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्म विभागयोः गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्त इति मत्वा न सज्जते.
इति सज्जते.
Rishma?
Yeah. One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, almighty armed, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the differences between work in devotion and work for fruitive results.
Okay, so in the previous verse we spoke of ahankara vimodhatma, one who's thinking I am the doer, I am this body, so everything that is done by this body, I am the doer. This verse is talking about that person who's tattvavid, who knows tattva, who knows the truth, one who truly knows कि I am not this body, I am simply spirit soul. That person is always aware of the fact कि no, whatever is happening, I am not the doer, he is the doer. Okay, so you can write down this line. Kabir has this beautiful line, जो करे सो हरि करे. Okay, होता कबीर कबीर. Whatever is being done by Hari. But the world thinks Kabir kar raha hai, Kabir kar raha hai, Kabir kar raha hai. You can put your own name, right? So, jo kare, so Hari kare, hota Kabir Kabir. God is doing everything, but people think ki I am doing it. I'm asking you to start making these little notes in your Gita is because when you open your Gita and you refer to this, then the important things you'll always remember. Right? Yes, Pooja.
When you mean that, when you're saying that Jo kare Hari kare, so see how spiritual you are and you follow your devotion, you do your duties, everything. It's not so easy to create a balance sheet or a balance all your life. There are times when you actually lose your cool, you lose your composure.
Of course.
So and then you know egoistically you might say something wrong to a person. I just want to know तो वो that point in time also हरि ने किया है और मैंने नहीं किया है.
प्रकृति ने किया है. Remember just the previous verse we said prakrutih kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashah. Who is the doer? Prakriti is the doer. At that point you are bound by tamogun or bound by rajogun and therefore you did it. And your entire effort in this lifetime is to keep moving. When you're in tamogun, try and get out of tamogun and move to rajogun. From rajogun, the minute you realize कि यार मैं बहुत rajogun में हूँ, then try slowly to purify your actions and move to satogun. And finally, we don't even want to be stuck in satogun, we want to go to shuddha sattva. But Pooja, the greatest achievement is when we start realizing कि यार ये ना मैंने अहंकार से बोल दिया, ये ना मैंने रजोगुण में बोल दिया, ये मुझसे गलती हो गई. That means that we've already started understanding ourselves. What is self-realization? Realizing कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, becoming aware of what am I doing, what is right, what is wrong, what is it that I should be doing, right? And then seeking forgiveness. That's it. So that is why you do your karma, right? You have two options. Either do your karma as a karta or you do that karma as a seva. तुमको करना ही है. जब कर्ता होके करोगे, then you are ahankara vimudhatma. Right? But when you do it as seva, then what is it? Tattva vittu mahabaho. Right? You've started realizing truth. Who's the absolute truth? Krishna. Right? So it is just that. Become aware. And once you're aware, then automatically you will धीरे 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 करते जो भी हम लोग गलत कर रहे हैं वो कम होगा. But remember, to err is human. We will keep making mistakes all our life. Becoming aware and having that intention of rectification is all that God is looking at.
Right. Okay.
Okay?
Very good.
Yeah. All right.
Just one last thing which I wanted to say that, over a course of time I realized that real growth actually in a person is about correcting himself instead of blaming somebody else.
Absolutely. You remember that story about, I don't remember it clearly, but एक राजा को एक साधु आके बोलता है कि your life will be really good if you only see everything as green. So what does this stupid Raja go and do? He tries going and painting the entire city green. है ना? साधु comes back and says, भाई तू कर क्या रहा है? तो he says, आप ही ने बोला कि मुझे I have to only see green for success. So he says, why are you trying to paint everything green? Instead wear green chashma, no? So you correct yourself. Why are you trying to go change everybody else around you?
Right.
So it's exactly that. है ना? Sheetal, you have something to say, sweetie?
Okay.
Actually, when Pooja was talking about our response in different situations, I don't know, I got this example. So suppose we are driving and somebody comes and bangs our car. Okay, so in different modes, we'll have different reactions. If we are in Tamogun, we could get out of the car and slap that person. If we are in Rajogun, we'll at the most, use some foul language and usko gali galoch deke nikal jayenge.
Correct.
But if we are in the mode of goodness, probably we'll say, okay, galti ho gayi, to err is human. We'll see whatever the insurance company can help us with the claim and just move on and think that this is part of karma and stride, just move on and not spoil the whole day. Because when you react in different ways, the entire day is ruined, even for us, even for others. So I just don't know. This
Absolutely.
example came to me very spontaneously. So
Very
much
nice.
I can
Very
So
nice.
I never realized the third one that, it's part of our karma only that we had to go through this. I never realized that unless you had never mentioned. I was also always in the Tamu and the Rajagun.
Wonderful, Sheetal. Thank you so much. Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll go to verse 29. Yeah, Sumati, you have something?
Just wanted to say Sheetal's example cleared out a lot of doubts.
Yes, thank you so much, Sheetal.
Right.
Thank you.
29, please. प्रकृतेर्गुण सम्मूढाम् सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृत्स्न विदो मन्दान् कृत्स्न विन्न विचालयेत्.
Dirt by the modes of material anger, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached, but the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge.
Very nice. So here we're talking of two people. Kritsna Vin means people who have knowledge. Kritsnavit are people who have knowledge. And Akritsnavit are people who do not have knowledge. So in this verse, very clearly God is saying the Kritsnavit people, people with knowledge, should not disturb the minds of Akritsnavit, or should not disturb the minds of people who do not have knowledge. That means the wise people who found the spiritual path, they should not force their thoughts onto ignorant people. Right? People who found the spiritual path should not say, Are Baba, you are the soul, you're not the body, karma is meaningless, give up your karma. No. Let ignorant people continue to do their karma. Through karma, they will get purification. So please don't disturb them. Don't give them advice which they are not ready to accept. Okay, a time will come when they will be receptive to this knowledge, and at that time, slowly, very, very slowly, as per their capacity, you can start introducing chota concepts to them and help them rise above attachment. But abhi don't look at a person and say, oh my God, तुम एकादशी नहीं करते, तुम कैसे पापी हो? है ना? तुम जन्माष्टमी नहीं करते, तुम कैसे पापी हो? Don't do that. Right? This is exactly what Krishna is trying to tell us. Let each person go through his own level of purification. There's a very nice story that Sadhguru had once spoken about, right? He says, there is this man who got this spiritual thirst, right? So he went to the jungle. He found a nice rock,
है ना? He said, okay, perfect. This is, I'm going to sit over here and I'm going to meditate. So he sits down over there. अब कहाँ ध्यान लग रहा है ना, बेचारा is still very कच्चा लींबू. He's trying, he's looking here, there, and थोड़ा सा दूर है ना, he sees one crippled fox. है ना, there's a fox, but उसके पाँव है ना कटे हुए हैं, एकदम crippled fox. He looks at that fox and he's wondering, यार ये तो पूरा crippled है, जंगल में बैठा हुआ है, लेकिन ये कितना healthy लग रहा है ना? He's well fed fox. So he's wondering कि how is this fox managing to get his food, right? तो बैठता है, थोड़ी देर में शाम होती है, right? Becomes a little dark and he hears the roar of a lion. पूरा डर जाता है, he looks at a tree nearby, runs up and he climbs up that tree. Climbs the tree and he's watching कि नीचे क्या हो रहा है. That lion comes with a big piece of meat, drops it next to that fox, right in front of that crippled fox, and the lion goes away. So the lion is bringing khana for that crippled fox. This sadhu is thinking, oh my God, this is a divine message for me. God is trying to tell me something. God is trying to say कि देखिए crippled fox को भी है ना शेर खुद खाना ला के दे रहा है. So this is a miracle. So what is the message that God is telling me? God is telling me तू भी सब कुछ छोड़ छाड़ के बैठ जा इधर. Somebody or the other will bring you food. Right? तो बैठ जाता है उस rock पे. Right? Takes care of himself every time the lion comes. Otherwise he's sitting there quietly. He's sitting, his stomach is growling, he's getting very upset. Nobody is getting him food. एक दिन जाता है, second day he says, no, God has sent me a message. I have to listen. Third day goes, now he's starving. He's very frustrated, he's angry. This God is so unfair. God looks after this fox, he doesn't look after a great man like me. And I'm feeling so weak and he's very miserable. By that time, another yogi is passing by. Yogi says, क्या हो रहा है भाई, तू इतना नाराज क्यों है? You're sitting here like you want to sit in meditation, but you're looking very upset. So what is the matter? So he tells the yogi कि यार ये देखो ना यार, इधर ये crippled fox बैठा हुआ है. Lion is coming and giving him food. And yet this God is so unfair yaar. I want, I'm such a great person. I'm sitting down in meditation and still nobody is feeding me. That sadhu looks at him, laughs and he says, yaar, is this really the message that you got? He says, yeah. He says, for 1 minute, did you not think that instead of imitating that crippled fox, you could have imitated the lion? है ना? Instead of sitting there waiting for somebody else to come and take care of you, couldn't you have thought that you could have got knowledge and then gone distributing it to other people? So in our life, we have to decide कि हमको क्या बनना है. Do we want to be that crippled fox? Or do we want to be that generous lion? है ना? Generous lion was doing his karma and was benefiting society at large. He's the Raja of the jungle and it was his duty to look after Praja. So don't ever go up to your husbands and say कि I'm on the spiritual path, I'm doing nothing, आप भी काम छोड़ दो, भगवान संभाल लेंगे. नहीं, he is the karta dharta of the house. He feels the responsibility. It's such a great thing. He is the generous lion because of whom we are able to sit down and do all of this. Right? Verse number 30, please. Very nice verse again. Very simple to learn and always remember. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyadhyatma chetasam nirashir nirmamo bhutvam Yudhyasva vigata jwaraha.
Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight.
This verse is clearly telling us the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita so far, okay? It is summarizing this entire section for us. This verse is a direct instruction from Krishna. Look at the instruction. Mai sarvani karmani. All your karma, sarva karma, mai. Do them as an offering for me. Do all your work as an offering unto me. Sanyasyadhyatma chetasa. Your chetasa should always be in me. Matlab constantly meditate on me as the Supreme Lord.
Okay? Then two very, very important words. Nirashir, nirmamo bhutva. Nirashir. Don't have any ashas. Become free from desire. Nirmamo. Mera. Me, myself, I. Give up this attitude. Right? Nirmamo. Nothing is mine. I am not the doer. Give up selfishness. And then Yudhyasva. Arjuna is standing there to fight. So go fight the war with good spirit. Yudhyasva vigata jwaraha. Give up all this jwara, this whole weakness, this whole disease, mental grief that you've got, and go fight your battle well. So do your karmas very, very well in life. Do them without desires for yourself. Do them without a selfish motive. Do them by always thinking of God and offering everything that you do to God. Right? So God is explaining to us how to become fully Krishna conscious. Sacrifice everything for the pleasure of the Lord. Adhyatma chetasa. Your thoughts should always be on God. Right? Become conscious of the presence of God in everyone, in everything, in every situation. Like Sheetal beautifully said, when you hit that car, when that accident happens, understand it is your karma. Right? It kind of clears out that moment, makes you spiritually conscious. Do it with an attitude of nirmama, not mine. Nirashir, without any asha. Don't expect any fruitive results. Right? In fact, if you pay attention, when we do pujas, home, havan, right? The Guruji will always end with idanna mama. In the end and a few times in the middle, you'll keep hearing idam krishnaya, idanna mama, idam radhaya, idam na mama, idam prabhutpadaya, idam na mama. Right? All of this is being done by Krishna, by Radha, by Prabhupada, not by me. This is not mine. Idam na mama. This is not mine. This is not for me. Whatever sacrifice I'm doing, whatever puja I'm doing, whatever yajna I'm doing, it's so beautiful because I'm saying this is not for me. Right? So the Vedas tell the karta of the puja, to not take credit for any karma that he's doing. So constantly from time to time we have to remind ourselves that the fruits of my karma are not for me. They are for the welfare of the world at large. Right? Normally when big politicians do bade puja path, right? They gloat over it. You look at what I have done. And the minute you gloat about a yajna or a puja, the whole favorable effect is nullified. That is why we say idan na mama. Right? I have done the sacrifice, but I'm doing it with the thought that God has made me do this. Remember we spoke about that bank cashier? He counts lakhs and lakhs of rupees, but he counts it on behalf of the bank. He does not claim even 1 rupee for himself. Similarly, we need to realize that nothing in this world belongs to me. Everything belongs to that Supreme Lord. Right? With that realization, Yudhyasva. Do your duty. Don't be lazy about doing your duty. Right? Vigata jwaraha. Don't make excuses for a sloppy job. Whatever work you do, whether it is housework or it is in your professional careers, do it to the best of your ability. Do your duty. Yudhyasva vigata jwaraha. No excuses for doing it sloppily. Right? So you have to constantly remember that I am a Jivatma, I am a part and parcel of Krishna. He is the enjoyer and master of everything. Right? All my work is meant for His pleasure. And in that spirit, I should do my work as a yajna. Yajnarthat karmano. Anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Remember we did this, the 9th verse of this chapter? Yajnarthat karmano. Do all your karma for that God of all yajnas. Right? Don't take credit for it yourself. Okay? Pooja, we'll do couple more shloks and then we'll go ahead. Then we'll take questions. 31st verse. Ye me matamidam nityam anuttishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto nasuyanto मुच्यन्ते तेऽपि कर्मभिः.
Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow the teachings faithfully without envy become free from the bondage of putative actions.
See, it's a very interesting section. That's why I want to wind it up before we take questions, please. Arjun ka basic question was that if I do my duty, I'm going to kill all these people and I'm going to get sin. Which means मैं कर्म करूंगा तो I will get stuck in karma bandhan. So in this verse, Krishna is clearly saying no. If you do your karma as karma yog, right, with nirmamo nirashir, then you will not be stuck in karma bandhan, you will be liberated. Just follow my instructions. But to follow my instructions, there are two necessary qualities. Shraddhavanta, please underline that. Shraddhavantaha and Anasuyantaha. Two very important qualities if we want to do karma but not get karma bandhan. One, we have to do it with Shraddha, faith. Faith is the foundation of everything that we do in life. Simple, no? If I go to a doctor and he prescribes medication, I have faith that if I take these medicines, I'll feel better, right? Or if I start a diet, I have faith that if I diet, I will lose weight. So everything that we do, the foundation is faith. So obviously here, I have to have faith in God. And second one, not have anasuya, not have envy. Anasuyantaha, without envy. Okay? I cannot think, what is this God? Why is he such a megalomaniac? Why does he want me to surrender everything to him? Who does he think he is? Right? No. We should be non-envious of Krishna. We should all recognize that we are his energy. And in the 7th chapter, he will explain to us how we are his energy. Okay? We are his energy. He is Purush, we are Prakriti. We've all come from him. So he is the original enjoyer. So we must have faith that Krishna is my loving father and he's arranged everything for me for my betterment, for my elevation. Right? So Krishna is telling Arjun, offer all your work to me with two qualities, with faith and without envy. Okay? With faith, without envy. And in the next verse, he tells us what happens if you don't have faith. Okay? So verse number 32, please. Ye tvetat abhyasuyanto nanutishtanti me matam sarva jnana vimudhaustan vidhi nashtana chetasaha.
Those who, out of envy, disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled, and ruined in their endeavors for perfection.
See, Krishna is an excellent teacher, right? So he's not leaving any ambiguity. He's telling us what happens when you follow his instructions, and he's telling us what happens if we don't follow his instructions, right? If we follow his instructions, we will not get stuck in karma bandhan. So Arjun, you can fight the war, you can kill all those people, and yet you will not get any karma bandhan. In this verse, he's telling us if you don't follow my instructions, then all your knowledge is useless and you will be stuck in this cycle of life and death. Those who out of envy, abhyasuyantaha, those who because of envy don't listen to me, and if they don't practice what I'm saying, all their jnana, sarva jnana vimudhaustan, they might have knowledge of all the scriptures, and yet all their work will be wasted. All their activities will definitely fail. Faith is very, very necessary for accepting the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Right? With our buddhi, if we are not able to understand something at a particular point, we must accept कि कृष्णा ने बोला है ना तो सही होगा. मेरी औकात नहीं है, मेरी इंटेलिजेंस नहीं है कि I can understand this just now. Right? So when the time comes, as and when my sadhana becomes better, I will slowly start understanding his words better. But what he says is not wrong. Right? This is Shraddha. But by pride, if we start thinking, why is God so egoistic? Why is he so greedy? Why does he want everything offered to him? Then we are achetasaha. We are not intelligent. We don't know what is right and what is wrong. And this verse tells us that this will lead to our ruin. Our ruin matlab kya? We will not be able to exit this world. We will be stuck over here. In one of these 14 planetary systems, we are going to be stuck here forever and ever. Right? Okay. So we will stop here and we'll take questions. Pooja?
So, Varsha, I want to ask you, Varsha, just a few lectures ago, you had mentioned that it's your action which creates a karma, it's not your thought. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But then I thought, your actions are only based on your thoughts.
Ah, yes.
Now, what I understand is that if there is a malicious intention, it comes into my mind and then I execute it. So my karma is created on my thought itself. That's what I believe.
So here's, finish.
Okay, sorry, I just want to complete.
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, I have a malicious intention and my karma is already created in my mind, but I still do not execute it. I do not go and execute it by putting it down, or maybe maybe at workplace, I try to present my project better than him and stuff like that. I don't do that. So I do not know that why I don't do that, but the very fact that I have created that dirt in my mind is already a bad karma for myself. Am I right or wrong?
No. The benediction of Kali Yuga. In any other yuga, that would have been a problem. Your thoughts will also create karma, but the benediction of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the best yuga to be born in for this reason. Ki just with Harinam you can exit, and whatever is your thought, unless you actually execute it, you will not get karma for it. See, because of your learning, right? Somewhere because of your sukruti, you have consciously prevented yourself from doing a bad act. It's in your mind, but you've not executed it, you will not get bad karma for it. Because you've let your buddhi be stronger than your mind. You've let your buddhi hold the reins. That is why we say the mind, so in the 6th chapter we'll do this. The mind can be your best friend or the mind can be your worst enemy. So long as you listen to your mind. Therefore use your buddhi. Man, buddhi, ahankar. है ना? So मन सबसे नीचे है, उसके ऊपर बुद्धि है. और उसके ऊपर जो अहंकार है, currently we are अहंकार की I am Varsha Shinde. The minute I change that ahankar to I am Krishna's child, then my ahankar is my greatest asset. My ahankar will direct my buddhi and my buddhi will control my mind. Right? So, no darling. Good news. Any bad that you think, so long as you don't execute it, it does not hurt you.
Just one thing which I wanted to mention, you were mentioning in the last verse, just the second last verse, that that I thing has to come out of you, that may thing has to come out, and that ego thing has to come out. I did realize for myself, so all this while, my maid, she comes to my house, we offer her food every day, and I used to tell my husband कि हम लोग को खाना देते हैं ये वो. But I have come out of that thought. The next time I told my husband was the fact that वो अपने नसीब का खा के जाती है, हम देने वाले कोई नहीं होते.
Absolutely. हम भी अपने नसीब का खा रहे हैं, वो भी अपने नसीब का खा रही है. Very nice.
So I did realize that for myself. So that progress from I am doing things like मैं
Awesome.
say to that is like नहीं यार वो अपने नसीब का लेके जा रहे हैं.
Awesome.
I do realize this. So I may have missed the last 5 or 6 lectures, but I never missed my devotion and my malas because I have complete faith in God. I am a much different person. What I was today versus what I was last. Trust me.
You're such a blessed person, Pooja. I am so glad that we connected. Thank you for sharing all these experiences with us.
Actually, in this business time, that's all I can tell you.
Very, very beautiful, darling. Very beautiful. Thank you. Kajal, you have a question?
We all are changing ourselves. Whatever behavior we had means some wrong behavior and everything we are changing. And it is because of Varsha.
Oh, absolutely not. It is because of the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. And I'm learning so much from all of you. So thank you so much. Just stay connected and let's all work on ourselves together. Right? Kajal, you have a question, dear?
हाय, थैंक यू सो मच। तो मेरा ये था कि whenever we have like two choices, for example, तो confusion होता है कि what to take and both are good. So how to take decision at that time?
श्रद्धा, फेथ के साथ मैं तुमको यही बताऊंगी कि yes, when there are two good choices and you don't know what to pick, then now I've reached a point where I'm so honestly, I used to turn to Guru. Okay, I think my greatest, when I say latch on to somebody, I latch on to my Shiksha Gurus. Okay, because I've been blessed. I've had the most intelligent and the most pragmatic, the most practical Shiksha Gurus. So I turn to them. Okay, but there are certain questions that I think I can't even ask them. Then I put two chits in front of Radharani and I ask her to pick. I go pick one of the subject, provided they're both good choices, right? But again, association really helps. People around you who understand your mindset and your current calling, right? Turning to them. So always having a small circle of very close friends who without judgment will guide you. Like I have few friends who are so dear to me that I know कि है ना बोलेंगे वर्षा बेवकूफी की बातें कर रहे हैं, ये बकवास है, ये मत कर, ये कर. So that is a huge asset that I have, that I'm blessed to have in my life. So one is you must have what they call devotee association. That really means people who understand your path. Okay, people who understand ki what is your inclination, what is your final goal, and why are you in this kashmakash, right, of choosing between two goods. So I really think, friends, a good Shiksha Guru that you can turn to. Somebody, I mean, I've been blessed. I used to have Satyavati Mataji, now I have Janva Mataji in my life. I have people like Sheetal Tyagi, right, who you can pick up the phone and talk to at any time and, get your questions resolved. So please use this whole base that you have, right? These are the friendships that you want to nurture. Okay? Turn to them and like I said, Radharani se pucho, do chitti dal do, ek utha lo.
One question, but whether our Guru is always right, we'll take advices from them, but
the 4th chapter will tell you how to choose a Guru. So, the beauty of Sanatan Dharma is that they never tell you to follow anybody blindly. There's absolute no blind following in our Dharma. It says तुम जाके उसको जितने questions है सब questions पूछो, right? You go do seva, watch him, see how he lives in his real life, see how he advises other people, go and see his understanding of scriptures, his application of scripture. Like to me, having a guru is very practical, is very important, right? So I said my gurus are very practical, very from today's world, because then they understand my situation, right? So you do all your work. Don't rush and say, अच्छा 10 लोगों ने गुरु कर लिया तो मैं भी गुरु करती हूँ, right? So you take your time. After that point, once you've accepted your guru, after complete checkup करने के बाद, then you take his word as the word of God. Once you've accepted him, आपने दीक्षा ले लिया, then after that there is no space for doubt. Then yes, your guru knows your situation. Even if he has 10,000 disciples, he knows your situation. He knows you individually. I'm not even joking, Subbalakshmi, when I tell you this. There is this Ammachi, right? Ammachi, have you heard of her? So Ammachi is this spiritual mother that people go and hug. She hugs people. That's how she spreads her spiritual knowledge. She gives large discourses. She does all of this. So in India, you can't even meet her because, there are lakhs of people waiting to see a guru. At that point, I was in the US. I didn't know anything about her. A friend of ours was a devotee. So he said, yaar, her ashram is so nice. Why don't you come along? And so my husband and me, we had a chota sa bachcha with us. My oldest was very small at that point. We went to the place. Okay, it's like a huge resort. They give you coupons. It's not like madness in India. And when it was our turn, we went to Ammachi. They ask you, what language do you want her to speak to you in, right? And I said English. She spoke to my husband in English. He was carrying our child. And then when she hugged me,
She spoke to me in Kannada. Okay? Now, nobody knew that I knew a little bit of Kannada because I have a little time spent in Bangalore, so I know a little bit of Kannada. She spoke to me in Kannada, just enough words that I could understand. Okay, she hugged me, and when she hugged me, I forgot the whole world. Okay, I was one with her, and she spoke to me. Okay, I said, funny man, why would she speak to me in Kannada? Right? A year later, when she came back, so I have not followed her, I've not read about her, I've done nothing. Okay, but sometimes places are very nice, so you tend to go there, right? Because you just feel good in those places. So a year later, when she came back to the US, same friend of ours said, would you like to come and meet Amachi? We said, chalo, sure, why not? We went back. Same thing. They asked which language. My husband and me both said English. She hugged my husband, spoke to him in English. She hugged me, she spoke to me in Kannada. Again, only that much that I could understand. So what are these? These gurus, believe it or not, they are transcendental. They have spiritual power. They know what they're doing. I've never connected with her again in my life, but those 2 instances that I met her, miracle, right? So whichever guru it is that you accept, once you accept them as your guru, then 100% faith. Then no doubt. Because see, doubts come when they say something that we don't want to hear. But that is probably the best instruction for us. Yeah, Pooja, you have a question? Others, we are over time, so if you wish to leave, please leave. Okay, thank you so much for joining. Yes, Pooja.
But it's mandatory to have a guru.
We all mandatorily have a guru as the Paramatma within us.
That is all I follow, because there are times when even I have confusion on picking up the right choices and making the right life-changing decisions and stuff like that. So what I do is I sit calmly, I check the pros and cons of both my decisions, and somehow that one moment comes and like, okay, I pick up this.
So if you have a clear reception, right? If you're able to connect beautifully, if there's no transmission problem between your Paramatma and you, then you're blessed. You have Paramatma as the greatest guru. But all scriptures talk about the importance of a guru simply because we're so jakadod in this material world that a lot of times the decisions that we make, we say Paramatma is telling me to do this, but we're not very sure if it's coming from my own selfish desires. Right? So to tell us right from wrong, there are 4 kinds of gurus. I think I've covered this, I'm not sure. Right? But there are 4 kinds of gurus. You'll always have a Patha Pradakshak guru, somebody who shows you the path. Then you'll have many Shiksha gurus from whom you can learn different things. Diksha guru. Diksha guru knows you. Right? And the reasons, and then of course your Chetana, right? Your Chetas guru, your Paramatma. Paramatma, everybody carries within themselves. The reason we need these gurus is because they are actually able to decipher what Paramatma is trying to tell you. They are able to clearly understand what scriptures are trying to tell you. We may not be intelligent enough. The language of the scriptures is very cryptic, right? And we may not be able to understand it. So every scripture will tell you the importance of a guru. Because a guru is able to speak to you in a language that you understand. But again, don't rush to have a guru unless you have 100% faith. Right. And again, always know that when the time is right, the guru will come. You be at it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, darling. Do we have any questions? No?
You are already a guru.
Oh, not at all, not at all. I'm simply repeating the words that I have heard. So thank you so much, Subbalakshmi. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you all for joining.